Good. So I'd like to talk about to complement. On the one hand, we've got sort of like with Buddhism, you have a lot of open, faith-based exploration, and a lot of mysticism, and so on. And fortunately, it's very much in the current era. We've got a lot available to us of science, of Western therapies, of psychotherapeutics, of neuroscience, to balance against purely faith-based, sort of Hindic, Brahminic, Tibetan, mysticism, where we can keep a balance. And the Buddha did recommend us keeping this balance between investigative wisdom and clarity of view, and on the other side, faith, confidence, based on real reality and real investigation, not just based on blind faith. It's not a doctrine of blind faith in any kind of way. So what I've done is to record. There is a great teacher of neuroscience in California. His name is Dr. Daniel Siegels. He started up the Mindsight Institute linked with UCLA, Los Angeles University, California, and he's come primarily from a totally scientific background, nothing to do with Buddhism, nothing to do with anything, but where he was involved in investigating about mindful parenting, basically coming from a child psychiatry background. He was just simply talking about when people are able to reflect to children how they're feeling, rather than just treat them as objects, that how much this boosts their ability to have empathy, resonance, to be able to have internal resilience, to cope with problems and their own reality much better. And he was giving talks on mindful parenting, and people coming up and saying, "Are we going to do any meditating as well?" And he didn't know what they were talking about. So people introduced him to mindful meditation, mindfulness meditation, and mindfulness-based stress reduction and so on. So he got sort of curious that way, and then started testing people who were doing mindful meditation. And he came up with a list of 9 benefits of meditation purely from this scientific point of view. So it's very interesting how to see what he came up with to say. So I just want to read through these as a short clip, just to very good to reflect about the benefits of meditation, and it also can be a motivation when you see that to push you to meditate more, get a regular practice going. Self-discipline and just a nudge as well. So sometimes we need that, or we'll cruise for a little bit, and time is precious. I think I can read these through because there's only 9 here, and so on. You mind? Is that okay? So mindfulness can bring your brain into an integrated state of harmony, balancing chaos on the one hand and rigidity on the other. This scientific wisdom is brought to you by neuroscientist Dan Siegel, Dr. Dan Siegel, author of several important books, including The Developing Mind, The Mindful Brain, Mindsight, and his latest, The Mindful Therapist. The middle prefrontal cortex, located behind your forehead and part of the newest part of the brain evolution-wise. It's known as the rational brain, in contrast to the emotional brain, that is older evolutionarily, is critical to the following 9 functions: bodily regulation, attunement, emotional balance, response flexibility, down-regulation of fear, insight, empathy, morality, and intuition. Each of these functions is positively affected by meditation. When you meditate, your prefrontal cortex will actually change. It will become thicker in places, indicating new neural connections, and perhaps even new neurons. It will be more efficient and more integrated. Bodily regulation is accomplished by regulating arousal and relaxation through the sympathetic and parasympathetic branches of the autonomic nervous system. Think of the gas pedal and a brake in a car. If you are overly stressed or anxious, your sympathetic nervous system is overly active. Think of the lead foot on the gas pedal. The car lurches forward and uses a lot of gas. Mindfulness helps to regulate the sympathetic nervous system, making it less reactive, no more lead foot, and helps you to drive the car more slowly. This cuts down on wear and tear on your body and reduces the risk for long-term health problems. Attunement is being connected to others, or being in tune. By being mindful, you can better connect to others because you are more present and less preoccupied with your own story. Attunement sows the seeds of compassion. Attunement provides an optimal environment for babies to develop. Healthy development happens when babies are attuned with their caregivers. Emotional balance refers to how you engage with experiences. It balances apathy on the one hand and feeling overwhelmed on the other. Like bodily regulation, it's a Goldilocks phenomenon, not too much and not too little. This is the optimal place for neural integration. Like bodily regulation, this helps you to be more nuanced and less clumsy in your emotional responses. And this will come in handy in your relationships and dealing with the day-to-day frustrations of life. Response flexibility refers to the pause that can develop between a stimulus and response. It aims at the impulsive reactions that often occur in response to a stimulus. This pause comes from mindful awareness and can help you to be less impulsive and less destructive with what you say and do. The down-regulation fear. This important feature is your ability to adjust the signals from the emotional brain that can overwhelm you. The emotional brain, which is responsible for emotions like fear and anger, has the job of keeping you safe. It does so by figuring out what you should be paying attention to. It is prone to making mistakes that err on the side of caution. Is that a snake or a stick? Let's assume it's a snake and let's get the hell out of here. That kind of mistake is less costly than guessing wrong. It takes longer to recover from a snake bite than to catch your breath for running away for no good reason. To be more accurate in detecting what should really get your precious attention resources, the prefrontal cortex, the rational brain, needs to have more nerve fibers going from the rational brain to the emotional brain to tell it, hey, it's a false alarm. This is accomplished through the development of inhibitory nerve fibers that go from the middle prefrontal cortex to structures like the amygdala in the emotional brain, the limbic system. Mindfulness practice can help to develop these nerve fibers. Insight refers to what Siegels calls mental time travel, or what you might call imagination. Mindfulness can help you to refine this capacity in the service of living skillfully rather than being subjected to out-of-control worry, regret and self-criticism. If you're not using your imagination for these destructive purposes, it will be free to be creative, and that would be a much better thing to do with your attention. Empathy, or what Siegels calls mindsight, refers to the ability to take the perspective of the other person. Obviously, this is connected to compassion, and once again hinges upon the ability to transcend your own self-preoccupied stories, to meet the other person you're with where they are. While some people are naturally more empathetic than others, you are not stuck where you are. As with all of these features, empathy is a trainable skill. The more you meditate, the more empathic you can become. Morality is also a function of the middle prefrontal cortex and includes not just your ability to be moral in public settings, but also in private. As you already know, morality or ethics is a cornerstone of Buddhist teaching and practice, so it may not be a surprise to find morality showing up on this list too. Buddhist meditation practice helps you to discern skillful from unskillful actions in all domains. In the context of morality, this may require inhibiting an impulse or inserting a pause before you say something. And lastly, intuition is the capacity to access the wisdom of the body by monitoring your bodily sensations. For example, a brain structure called the insula has a map of the interior body, and studies have found the insula gets thicker with meditation practice. The more you meditate, the more aware you will be of your body. This awareness can help you to cope with whatever the body is experiencing, whether that is pain, anxiety, or any discomfort whatsoever. Before he took an interest in mindfulness, Siegels came up with the same list of brain function as mindfulness researchers had compiled independently. And it's not just brain researchers. This list has been striven for in many spiritual traditions since ancient times. When you recognise the plasticity of the brain, you can understand why you respond in certain situations the way you do. Your previous conditioning will have you react in sometimes harmful ways, but it is the fault of conditioning. However, at the same time, it is your responsibility and potential to change these conditionings through mindfulness and meditation. The middle prefrontal cortex develops optimally in an interpersonally attuned environment during infancy. Mindfulness provides the possibility of self-attunement to develop these same brain areas. So sit down and change your brain. Okay. Oh, I've lost my answer. One study found that people who had participated in an 8-week mindfulness meditation class had measurable shifts in the way their brains handled emotions, shifting their emotional set point towards more positive feelings. This study also found a boost in their immune systems. Chronic stress can reduce immune function. Mindfulness meditation has also been shown to reduce the recurrence of major depression in patients who have had multiple episodes of depression. Mindfulness can also help with anxiety disorders, including post-traumatic stress disorder. There is also some evidence suggesting that mindfulness meditation discourages self-destructive behaviour in response to stress by encouraging acceptance rather than avoidance of negative emotions such as sorrow, guilt, and loneliness. This might seem backwards, but acceptance is the key and is at the core of the Buddha's teachings. When you accept something, you are in clear contact with reality. It doesn't mean that you like sorrow or want to be lonely, but you accept the fact that you are. Then a space opens up where you can experience these emotions as they are, without having to change them into something else. This gives you freedom and can help to prevent covering these feelings over with potentially self-destructive behaviours, such as smoking, eating, and drinking. Okay, so this is a little bit on research aspects to counterbalance the development of faith and such things as chanting, which we'll be looking at today, which is a daily reflection on the qualities of the Buddha, the qualities of the Dharma, qualities of the Sangha. These three things we'll focus on. We need to counterbalance, and it's good to see support from contemporary scientific research.